Welcome back to the continued downfall of my sanity. This morning we had an F1 race, and in that F1 race, on the very first lap, there was a incident that took place that resulted in the Haas car. I don't know what number he is, but it doesn't matter. It's F1. But Romain Grosjean cut across Kvyat's nose and pretty much drove straight through an Armco barrier in Bahrain. Yeah. So that's interesting. Not I did not have that on my 2020 bingo card. Was a F1 car getting split in half by an Armco barrier. I certainly did not see that. I did not foresee that one. Um, and it's okay to smile about it now because he's already posted on Instagram from his hospital bed. So, and he seems to be in good spirits. So, hey, I'm fair to make a video about this. Let's do this. Yeah, and the thing is that I'm kind of convinced at this point that if I watch a race, no matter how bad the wrecks are in it, there will not be a fatal crash. I've never seen a fatal crash live. I've been watching racing of all forms for over 20 years, and I've never seen a fatal crash live. And considering all the ones that should have been fatal crashes but weren't, such as Wickens, I don't know. Does Wickens count? Because technically, his wife said in that one post that he like flatlined in the helicopter or something. So does that one even count? The point that I'm trying to make is that Romain Grosjean should not be alive right now, considering what happened in this wreck. Because, like I said, the car split in half. It hit with such a terminal velocity that it pretty much came to a dead stop once it hit this actual barrier. I don't know how fast it was going. It was a relatively mid-speed corner. So it wasn't like he was redlining as he hit the wall or anything. But it wasn't a slow corner by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't a slow slide. There were... Because when the actual impact happened, there was obviously a giant explosion. And that alone was like, uh-oh, that's not good. I noticed that the commentary team were pretty nonchalantly describing the fact that a car had exploded in the back. They really had they were pretty blasé about it. But I suppose that I think most of the people involved in the commentary team were around back when dying in racing was basically you expect it's probably gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen. Could be anyone on that track. That could be any of them. So that might have played into that just a little bit. But like, I noticed that when they hadn't cut back to the they didn't cut back to the actual incident, the scene of the incident. They usually throw the camera immediately to every incident, no matter how bad it is in F1, because got to entertain the people somehow. And yet in this one, it was very noticeable that they did not show the actual aftermath of the incident. And the strangest thing about it is that Grosjean was out of the car under his own power. When Newman took a car to the forehead earlier this year, that was this year. That was 9 months ago. 9 months ago is when that happened. Just if you want to put into perspective what an absolute year it's been. There's still 32 days. There's still 32 days. Oh no, there's still 32 days. But when Newman took a car to the forehead, he had to be cut out. He had to be carted onto an ambulance. And even though he was out of the hospital the next day, he still had to be carted into there. Grosjean walked away from this. He had to be assisted after he was actually out, obviously, but that is a thing that would not have happened a couple years ago. And we know this for a fact because similar but not entirely related to Jules Bianchi, I probably butchered that and I apologize, who drove into the something and it was pretty much the reason that the Halo exists to begin with, is what I'm trying to say. And if you consider how the car actually pierced the barrier, it went through the barrier, like not even, they didn't even break the barrier. It went through the middle section. I don't even think the top and bottom were separated after the actual crash. And the cockpit of the car is just sitting there in this barrier. And you wouldn't have survived that without the Halo. So, yeah. And we seen a similar thing take place this year in IndyCar, where there was another similar situation with the shield. That was super useful. The fact that it existed was very good. Very good. Good things. Good things. Good things being developed in the open wheel world right now. So, and especially considering I made a video after the death of Justin Wilson, and I didn't see that one live, obviously. I didn't actually watch that race when it was happening. And I really can't give any actual, in-depth analysis on it. But as far as this one's concerned, like, even with the Halo, it's pretty incredible that Grosjean is alive at all, let alone walked out of it. So what I'm trying to say here, basically the gist of this video is that good, finally, actual fucking safety development in the open wheel world. Holy shit, it's only been 100 years. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good thing that the Halo exists, isn't it? Yeah, very good, isn't it? Because like if you want an idea of how sheer the velocity of the nature and the incident that this was, I think I read somewhere registered at 53 Gs. You saw usually there's tethers on the actual wheels of the F1 car, and both of the front tires completely came undone and were flinging wildly around the racetrack. And this race, not just this incident, the entire race had an aura of strangeness about it. With Lance Stroll, the Matt Tifft of F1, getting flipped one lap after this incident. This was a red flag that took like an hour and 40 minutes. And immediately, when they restarted that race, he got flipped. Have I ever seen a flip in F1 live? I don't think I have. I think this might be the first one. I'm probably stupid though and missing something, but yeah, so that's interesting. You had one of the safety crew run across the track during that incident, or one of these incidents. No, the other Racing Point car, fucking Perez, blows up with 3 to go, and a safety official just ran across the track right in front of Lando Norris and was like, Are you doing this right now? It really do be 2020, and people really still be running across active racetracks in the dead of the night. That doesn't tend to end well. Yeah, it's kind of surprising to see how close the actual track officials are to the action, still to this day. Like even in that first crash, there were people on the scene like that were just standing behind the other barrier, across from the barrier that Grosjean drove through, and they're just standing there like, "Oh, that's an explosion." Yeah, I wonder if they had a camera angle down there for that. That would have been something. But yeah, at the end of the day, the the safety development has improved so much in just 5 years after the death of Justin Wilson. Like it's night and day. Like, I don't think anything has really fundamentally changed about the cars themselves. Like, all of that stuff has done its work right for like 10 or 15 years. It became necessary to have that facial protection. And the fact that hardcore traditionalists are just like extremely butthurt about the fact that these things exist, and they have saved multiple lives since their implementation, and it hasn't resulted in someone's it's prevented death rather than causing it. Remember when everyone was mad about the fact that these things would be a thing, and they'd be like, "Oh, but what if they can't get out because of it? Then they're gonna be set on fire and burned to death." Well, that didn't happen today, did it? That sure as shit didn't happen. Man, good analyzation there. I'm sure you were getting. I'm sure you thought that the Hans device was going to cause people to choke to death or whatever. Yeah, brilliant analyzation. Very, very brilliant. So yeah, it's a good thing that this shit exists. I'm glad that it does, and it better stay. So yes, it's good to be. It's good to report positively about something in the racing world for once. It's really nice. It's really nice to have an air of positivity for once. And it's all thanks to people finally fucking giving in and making a facial protection for open wheel, open cockpit cars. It only took 100 years, but hey, better late than never. Better late than never. Anyway, um, yeah, no, that's about it for this video. So yeah, just a positive one for once. Very good. Very good to see. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.